All right, some injury updates, as it were, from Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, and Kirby keeps it real limited on this front. He had this to say when asked directly about Ladd McConkey and Warren McClendon. He said, "We're excited to hopefully get those guys back and see what they do this week." Well, couple of different things. First of all, this week already started for Georgia. I mean, they practiced today, Monday, so Kirby knows whether those guys are playing or not. It's certainly his prerogative to say whether those guys are are practicing or not. Just because they're practicing doesn't mean they're going to play. Just because they're not practicing doesn't mean they're going to not play. There's all sorts of stuff. But you know, we will see Georgia practice on Wednesday and Thursday. It's mandated by the College Football Playoff, New Year's Six. The It's open to the media for 15 minutes both days. Whether Ladd and Warren are going to be there at that time, my suspicion is they will. I mean, like I'm expecting those guys to play. Georgia practiced today, as I said a second ago, in Athens today, which is a very convenient thing for the dogs, that's for sure. But so they have one full time in their facility. They can break everything down in the way they normally would. You got to think about it. These bowl games, you're trying to do everything the way that you normally do for a practice, because I mean you're having practices, and it just happens to be the most important game of the year. But you, I mean, you don't have everything like you do, as Ryan Day was saying today, in your own facility. I mean, you don't. I mean, you're trying to treat Mercedes-Benz, the Georgia Dome's replacement, like it's your football facility, and it's not. So Georgia stole a day today, and I think that's really good for them. But we'll see on Wednesday and Thursday what happens with Georgia. But I expect those two guys to play as it stands right now, unless something kind of different happens. But he said works. This is very specifically what Kirby said. We are excited to hopefully get those guys back, and see what they do this week. So we'll see. I think Ladd would be harder to replace. As good as Warren McClendon has been, he's been really, really good for a while at right tackle. You have some replacements there. I mean, Georgia has played a lot of guys on the offensive line this year. Warren Erickson, Truss, obviously McClendon, who we've been talking about, Ratledge, Van Pran, Broderick Jones. But Mims is the guy who has been playing at these tackle spots a lot. And so there's not a guy that is like Ladd McConkey that you can just replace Ladd with in the lineup. So that's the part to me that is, if you're going to lose one, you'd sort of rather lose Warren. But with all that said, you're getting AD Mitchell back in quotations. And look, I think Georgia is about as healthy as can be expected right now. You've got two guys on the defensive side of the ball, one of which was a full-time starter and possible top a first-round guy, Nolan Smith, that are not playing in this game. You've not had those guys for a while. Um, Somewhat, you could say the same thing for Ohio State, but they're really uh, banged up at some skill spots for them. They just happen to have really good other players at receiver. At running back, it is challenging for Ohio State. I mean, they're not exactly with a full deck of cards there compared to what they're used to on that front. So I think we'll see Ladd and Warren. I don't know that we certainly will see, but it's been 4 weeks, well, three and a half, three and a little bit now. Um, that sort of stuff trickles through the grapevine after a while if they're not going to play. But now it's Monday, and we don't know what we don't know about Tuesday. I mean, there's just no way to know for certain uh, what will happen tomorrow. But Georgia got to Atlanta tonight. They got to the Atlanta Marriott Marquis, which is, you know, I feel like I was just at the New York Marquis, Marriott Marquis, um, golly, it's been a whirlwind this year. But because of the Heisman thing with Stetson. Hey, listen, I'm going to put a link down below. Make sure you're signing up to our newsletter. It doesn't cost any money or anything like that. There's going to be a link below. Make sure you sign up for that because you're going to miss out on all the stuff that we do on Dog Post, not just on video. They're not the same thing. There's a lot of different things that you're missing out on. I'm not asking you to become a subscriber to Dog Post on the online. That's you should be, but what I'm saying to you right now is sign up for the newsletter. I mean, it's free, comes to your inbox every single, not every single day, but about every day. We don't bombard you. There's not days where we do 5 emails or anything like that, but that's the quickest way to get breaking news. We can't just jump on. And often it gives more detailed information. You don't want to miss stuff like thoughts from the box after the game, like these thoughts. But anyway, sign that up. It's right down below. But for Kirby and them, we got to talk to both Ryan Day and Kirby today. I was impressed with Ryan Day. I've been impressed with Ryan Day for a long time. I think there's been some stuff that Ohio State's been dealing with that Georgia hasn't, which is the discussion of players getting or being hurt, I should say, and not being able to play in this game. I mean, look, I think Ohio State is probably well prepared that both these guys will play against them, and if they don't, then they don't. I mean, it's not like if you don't have Warren out there, as I've just been saying, then um, you'll kind of survive. It's just kind of where it's at. They can move on with some other players, but this game is missing Lad would hurt. I mean, just at the Dome in those games, Lad McConkey has really played well in the Dome. Here are his numbers from those 2 games. Well, I'll just give you, let's just see, 3 games here that he's played at the Dome. So against Alabama in the championship game, he had 2 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. In 2022, Ladd went 5 catches for 73 yards with a touchdown. That was a really nice touchdown. Receiving, running, he went 2 for 16 with a touchdown. That's pretty good. And then receiving against LSU, he had 5 for 69 yards, including a touchdown. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns in 3 games there. I mean, Ladd McConkey's been he's been very productive at the Dome when you're not worried about throwing it this or whatever that. He's played well in those games, frankly. And just looking at this is from ESPN, but looking at his um, productivity against top 25 teams, he's got 236 yards on 15 receptions and 3 touchdowns this year. In those, I don't know, 4 games, 5 games, whatever it is. So Ladd's been very productive. He's the guy that you really, if you can get a guy back, missing Ladd McConkey is not the guy that you would ideally want to miss. I mean, you don't want to miss any of these guys, but I think that's the thing, man. I mean, if they're getting back to practice, my suspicion is that they will get back to play. But, let's just see what happens and take it from there. So Georgia is in Atlanta now. They'll have practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at the Dome. They'll do a walkthrough on Friday. I mean, they've done this several times now. The only difference is that they're practicing at the facility on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and one other thing too that Kirby was asked about: does it matter having played there before? And he, this is not nothing because I'll tell you, as a photographer, I know exactly where the scoreboard is at Georgia, like the play clock, all that stuff. At these pro places, when you don't play there, it's not as obvious. Like in Jacksonville, the play clock is on ground level. That's where they block photographers from being in that area. It's kind of stupid to put the play clock down there, but that's where it is. At the dome, it's not down there. It's up higher. So it's just like little stuff like that. It does add up. It doesn't help you if someone's running, to try to knock your head off. But for CJ Stroud and very specifically CJ Stroud, as well as Ryan Day, they'll just have to figure out where everything is. They're not playing a different sport, so but there's a matter of being comfortable at that Georgia has with playing at the Dome. Hey, we'll hope to have more with Ladd and Warren McClendon. Excuse me, updates. I'm going to try to get past this cough, and we'll see you in Atlanta.